Welcome to the 42 Podcast, where a Christian and an atheist sit down to discuss the meanings of life, the universe, and everything else in between. Thank you for joining us. All right. Hey, Lindsey.
Hey, Rob. How's it going?
It's going.
Right.
You and I are recording this on Thursday, January 7th, and I'm hoping to have this up later today. Some craziness has just happened.
Yeah, what the heck just happened?
I don't know. I really don't. There's part of me that feels like it was a failed coup, revolution attempt. I don't even know where to peg this at.
Yeah, and I want to know how many people that were in the crowd were just going along, and how many people in the crowd came with intent. A couple did, because there was some people in body armor with irritants and guns, or a gun. I don't know who had a gun, but it's really hard to say. So
yeah, there's a lot of confusion as to what's happening right now, and one of the deep ironies, one of my early impressions from last night with what happened at the Capitol building was, and Lindsey, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Mm-hmm. But you have a group of so-called patriots who are in a position where they don't think that coronavirus is happening or doubt its spread, yeah. And so they don't wear masks, right?
Yeah.
And they went to a protest that turned into a bit of a mob, right?
Right.
And then they stormed the Capitol building, a federal property, going past security lines and potentially committing several, probably federal felonies.
Yeah.
All the while not wearing masks as freedom-loving patriots.
Yeah.
It feels like if you were going to breach a federal property, you might want to wear a mask just to hide your identity.
Right.
But no, we can't wear a mask because coronavirus is not real.
And what were they going to do? Like, the people there were some people there were absolutely responsible and had forethought. What were they trying to do? Were they just going to stick everybody up until they had the votes recounted, or until they're like, yeah, right, there's definitely been fraud here. You're right. You caught us. Or Did they want to, crown Trump king, or what the heck?
I have no idea. I really don't. And that is one of the things I'm struggling with, where it's what did you think was going to happen? I don't know. Maybe it would be a different story if they got their hands on a senator or a congressman or congresswoman, and
yeah,
mobs can be mobs. That might have been bad real fast.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
It's a lot to take in. There are a lot of questions that each of us is wrestling with right now, just in Republicans and questioning, is this a party I want to be behind? Democrats, as they're trying to figure out what the transition of power will even look like.
Yep.
Especially with them now having control of both sides of Congress.
Yeah.
It's a weird moment.
It is a really weird moment, and sad. It was a sad thing to watch.
Yeah.
And why? What's going on exactly? What is the ideology behind everything that sort of connects the dots for people to say, yeah, this is a good idea. This is our patriotic duty. Is it related to religion?
Yes and no. I mean, partially. You can't entirely remove religiosity out of it because it's been used as a political manipulative tool.
Yes.
And there is, in any religion, it doesn't matter which, there is this ability to stir up the masses and claim righteousness while doing things that are not. Uh, and I think that's
Yeah.
part of what happened. I don't think it's the only thing. I think it's also the rhetoric that has been used politically for the past,
For months.
I would go back decades.
Yeah.
We've been slowly...
Well, yes, we've been conflating Christianity with being a patriot, which is not correct.
Not just Christianity, but I mean, we've been conflating, not, I don't know if conflating's a word I want to use there, but we've been using rhetoric that is more divisive. You know, oh no, you're a Democrat. You stand against everything that I believe. And, oh no, you're a Republican. You're evil. Religion should be a unifier in these things. I mean, I have people where I work and where I'm a youth minister. I have people who are both Republicans and Democrats, and they can get along under one banner, but it's just...
Yeah.
It's that divisive language.
Technically, I was just looking this up. According to a 2014 Pew Research study, 70% of the population is Christian. 50%, and if you look at the way people vote, that's 20% of people that are Democrats that still call themselves Christians. You know, like doing the math, it doesn't... There are Christians on both sides of the aisle. There are people that believe in God on both sides of the aisle.
I'm going to push back a bit. I would think it would be fair to say that it's maybe closer to a 35-35 split, give or take 5 points, on Christian, because there are Christian Democrats, there are Christian Republicans. Just because you're one or the other doesn't exclude what you believe. And even then, that envelope of Christian is very broad, because are we talking Christian Catholic, or are we talking Christian Evangelical? You'll get different mixes in each. But
and that's kind of what I'm saying too, is that they're everywhere. So how come this isn't a unifying thing? I don't get it.
Okay. Because the history of the church is very diverse and divided in denominations, but that's a conversation for another day, because the history of the church may inform parts of where we're at, but where we're at right now is this country is somewhere.
Yeah.
We're 6 days into 2021. Come on!
I know.
I know. Thank God for whiskey.
Dewars. We should get sponsored by Dewars.
This isn't Dewars. This is Two Gingers. It's a Irish whiskey.
Get on the sponsoring. We need to sponsor some whiskey companies. They need to sponsor us.
Yeah, something. The sponsor for 2021 is brought to you by Wine, Whiskey, and Beer.
Huh? Yeah.
But no, it is a weird year, and part of the reason I wanted to jump on is part of the dynamic that has been you and I is that we have a similar background but have come to different conclusions. And one of the weird things I'm processing today is I went and I changed my political party affiliation.
Yep.
I set it at 18 and kind of forgot it. It doesn't represent me fully, but it was the closest thing at the time. I'm done.
Yeah.
I am now a independent, one of those cherished independent voters.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and I did the same thing a while ago.
Well, and I assumed as much. I assumed as much.
Right.
But
yeah,
it's processing that.
Yes, exactly. I've done a lot of processing, and I feel pretty ill-informed as far as politics goes, and even current events. Like I feel like I'm kind of like a pit bull. I can only really attack one thing at a time. So this isn't really where my headspace is.
No, and
even though I do think about it, it's just I can't focus all my study and attention on it right now. But but it is something I consider. I just feel like I don't know enough. I don't have enough information to make a judgment on what's right in government, what's wrong in government, what are the effects of this or that political theory. But I would like to talk about it with, at some point in a measured way that doesn't get emotional. That's always fun.
Well, and that's any conversation. There's a huge potential for the emotional charge. But let me ask you this. All things considered, how do you feel after yesterday? Do you feel like there was any degree of democratic process or constitutional expression in that group of people storming the Capitol?
Here's what I feel just off the cuff. I'm proud of our Congress for staying there and continuing to do what they were there to do. I'm proud of them. I do think that the people that were there were a mob, even though they didn't look like it from the outside. I mean, it was easy to see, it was almost like, wow, this is a very peaceful looking mob, and probably most of them were, but it was still, we're there because you're there, and they're there because they're there. And I don't think I'm not sure many of them were really thinking through things except for very rudimentarily. That's just my guess. Is it their right to protest? Absolutely. Absolutely. It is their right to protest, but they have to obey the laws of law and order. And the minute they cross those lines, they've stopped becoming people that we can really listen to.
Yeah, and I have a lot of those similar sentiments as you. My thing is the voices that we are listening to, because we have, and Trump is one of the biggest negatives, but there are others who've been inciting the population, this country, towards hatred and vilifying of anyone who is the cultural other in any way.
Yep.
And
us versus them.
Yeah, and last night was the accumulation of what that rhetoric has gotten us, where a mob stormed the Capitol building because the other was the one in power. The other was the one who was about to...
Well said.
Yeah. So I'm tired of the rhetoric. I'm tired of the rhetoric that's dividing us. And, that's part of why I wanted to do this podcast with you, because...
Yeah. It feels good
Lindsey?
to talk about it.
Yeah, and you know what? You are a wonderful and amazing woman. I respect you. And I may not agree with you, but that's half of the fun of life.
Yeah.
So, from my perspective, if you're out there, you were in that mob, please stop. Please stop listening to the people who want to do nothing but divide us. For our senators, for our politicians, stop trying to divide us. We're more than
Let's find where we do agree, right? Let's find what we can agree on and what we can make progress on.
Let's do what's best for the people as best as we can. We're going to fail. Failure is a part of being human. Mm-hmm. But let's do the best that we can moving forward. Let's take this day and just be... What happened, let's do something better. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
but...
we actually agree.
Oh, no, we can't agree.
Now this isn't a good show.
You're still a Patriots fan. We can't agree. Yeah. All right. Well, here's to something different. I toast you with my coffee. And, I'm going to try and get this episode up tonight. Hopefully it's helpful to help process where we're at for anyone listening. So.
Are we still friends?
Yes, we are. And, Lindsey, I'm now an independent voter just like you. All right. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you, Rob.